Welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and I have a pretty interesting and exciting knife in front of you today. This is new, not yet released, the Bestech Pterodactyl. And they have some stuff. They listen to the community and they listen to our suggestions, and they've made some changes that I see right off the back on the surface. And we're going to do a disassembly on this one so we can see if they've had any other changes in the inside that I can't see from the outside. I will say this thing came stupid smooth. I mean, stupid smooth. And y'all just wait for this review because I'm excited about this one. One thing that I see they changed right off the back, you got a new pivot design. It's very attractive, and a lot of people said they didn't like the flathead on the opposite side, and they changed it to a Torx. And you have that same pivot, except you have a T8 on here. And the T8, this is a Weehaw bit. And there's, look at that, no play whatsoever. Very nicely done. They still have T6 in the back. Let's check these out. You have, I give that a B. And let's check these out back here. Yeah, the same ones. So far I'm liking this. That's awesome. And I also noticed, let me make sure before I say that, they look like they shrunk the font down, because I told them, you know, the font wasn't really attractive, but you know that they could at least make it smaller. Let's see. Got the Predator here, and as you can see, yeah, it's a lot smaller. Very nice. It's awesome to see that they listen to our suggestions. So if you ever have a suggestion on the Bestech knife, leave it in the comment section below. They do watch these videos. And let's get started. Got our T8. Take this guy off. And we got our T6. Make sure you're using quality drivers. I'm using Weehaw bits. You don't want to use a crappy driver, or a driver that, oh, hold on, that's why, or a driver that has a stripped head on it, because you will in turn jack up the screws that you're trying to take down. So what I'm talking about is, let me see if I can show you. Let's see, I think I have one that's pretty nasty looking. You can see on this, let's see if I can get to zoom in. Oh. This Torx, the end of this Torx head is twisted. It doesn't want to play nice today. As you can see that silver in there, it's actually twisted, and that was my fault. I went at a Loctited pivot or a body screw, and it twisted it. So you don't want to use those drivers. You want nice crisp. See how this one's nice and fresh. If it gets any twist or any kind of mangled, I definitely swap it out, buy new ones, because you will destroy those screws. There you go. Easy peasy. Let's see. They got a little bit of Loctite, and that's perfectly fine with me. It looks like that white stuff. I think it's equivalent to the blue, and no Loctite on the pivot. Nice. Let's see. I tore it down a little bit backwards because I didn't want to have to take this pocket clip off, being that that's one of the body screws. So let's see what we got here. You have your over travel. You have your ceramic detent ball. You have a stainless race washer. Let's see if I can pop that guy out. There you go. They use nice and thick race washers, unlike some company that used to use. Look at those. Those are nice and thick. We'll put those off to the side. There you go. You have some nice internal milling. And they didn't go crazy on the milling. I think they just did it just to balance the knife out perfectly, and they nailed it spot on. I don't know why you have this extra hole right there. I think it's just there. maybe for the machining process. And as you can see, you have some more lightning pockets here. You have your stop pin. Let's pull all that out before it gets lost. Let's check this out. Hold on. All right, let me make sure. Yes, sirree. You also have a captured pivot now. See that little shape right there, that flat section, which that flat section coincides with this side. You can see there's a flat section there. So another huge props to Bestech. That was another complaint and suggestion that was brought to their attention, and they jumped on it. So that's awesome to see when a company listens. There's your stop pin, nice and beefy stop pin. You have ceramic bearings. And go, nice and big bearings with a bronze cage. Put that right there. This knife is brand new, so you don't have a whole lot of crud there, but they do have a little bit. We'll wipe this crud off, or their grease. And it's always good to give it, after you carry it for a while, give it a good cleaning, because sometimes you have some metal particles, remnants from the machining process that may have jumped inside that pivot hole, or the detent ball hole, or on just anywhere on this part of the knife. So there you go. Got an internal, well, no you don't. There you go, I'm sorry. There's your detent ball hole, detent ball track. As you can see, you have a nice little area where the ceramic has worn a track right there. And it's even on both sides, so that means the force is being distributed evenly. My dogs are probably going to go crazy in a second because my son just got here. So just letting y'all know. There you go. Sorry, I'm just going to say sorry right now, okay? Cleaning up all the surfaces. After I just wipe down all the original oil, I come back with some isopropyl alcohol. I use these little pads. I like the way they work, and I also use Q-tips with some 91% isopropyl alcohol. There you go. Yep, they are definitely about to freak out. So y'all get ready for the barking party. Alrighty. Now, let me wipe down these surfaces. Like I told y'all, they're barking. Sorry about that, peeps. My son just came in. Alrighty. I'm going to take my alcohol swabs, and I'm going to clean off the bearings first because I don't want any trash in those bearings. I kind of just roll them around just to get all the balls cleaned up. Wipe them down nice and good. Set that off, let it dry, and do the same for this one. That wasn't so bad. They only barked a little bit. There you go. Put this one off to the side. Then just take, this is a chopstick that I kind of formed to make it fit. And you can use, sometimes I use a cotton Q-tip, but this works just as well as easy. And I already have it out, so why not? Wipe that down, get inside there. Trying to get all the old grease out, just because sometimes when I use nano lube, that's just my lube of choice. Sometimes when you mix lubes, it creates drag. The viscosity sometimes makes it thicker. So it's good to get all the old lube out of the blade. And get that detent ball track. I sharpened me a few chopsticks so I can kind of get into those tight spots like the detent ball hole. Get that out there because oil will sit right there. I'm gonna wipe down the stainless race washers, and I'm definitely liking what I see. I mean, they jumped on our suggestions quickly, and they did a good job of executing them. And I also like to wipe down the pivot. You know, it's good to wipe down every piece of the knife, because, like, I mean, you can see there's a little black on there. You never know what kind of dust or grime has got into the inside of that knife, and especially on bearings, you need to keep it clean. If you don't want to tear it down, you can always blow it out with compressed air. Sometimes that'll work, but usually the oils are going to trap all that grime and dirt. There you go. We'll wipe down the stop pin. Alrighty, everything's nice and cleaned up, and it's ready to be wiped down with a microfiber cloth. Make sure nothing's still there. I'm very OCD if y'all haven't noticed. And kind of I'm rubbing these bearings on this microfiber cloth to make sure I don't have anything trapped on there. And we'll wipe down the face of this blade. I don't know if I can improve on this action much more, because it came pretty phenomenal. Yep, my dog wants to say hey to y'all real quick. All right, let's put this guy back together. Let's see, let me try to remember. The blank spot came on this side. Yes, because I did it opposite. Yep. This goes here because your half moon shape is on this side. So you want to, it's in the down position, but I'll show you how if you happen to mess up that. There you go. Get my lube of choice. This is 10 weight nano oil. I like to put a small little drop where the race washer goes, so it acts as something to make it stay in place. It'll, you know, being that these things are nice and flat, once you put the race washer down, give it a nice spin, and usually when you turn it upside down, it's not going to go and fall out. One thing I did forget to do, which I will grab a cotton ball, is wipe the Earl off of this area right here. And as you can see, you do have a nice pivot collar. You can't really see it that well because it is a grayish color, so it's kind of muted. Oh, there you go. I can let you see it up close and personal. There you go. So we'll clean this off too, because you have a lot of lube that's left over. And then I'll wipe it down with a paper towel. Not too worried about that area. Put that back down there. I'll probably have to fix that again. Okay. So let's put this bad boy back together so we can see if we improved on the action any. Like I said, I'm not really worried about improving it because it was pretty darn awesome as it stood. But I just wanted to show y'all some of the stuff that they've already, you know, fixed since we asked them. And I always probably over lube. Like to put a little lube on the pivot. And then what I'm doing also is putting a little lube on the track that the the ball bearings have made on it. I like to put a drop on each side right here, on the inside, rub around, and then I like to fill the little hole, with some lube, flip it over, hit this side, and like I said, I know I probably used way too much, but it's okay. Now it's time to put this bad boy back together again. Put this stop pin in here. We're kind of putting it back together backwards. I'm going to drop my bearings in there. I like to give them a good spin around just to distribute that oil all the way around. Drop the blade in there. Try to keep that pivot somewhat facing down so it's easy to get it back in there. Then take the other bearing. You know, some people do it like this, some people do it like this. They were sitting like this when I got it, so I'm gonna keep it the same. You know, I kind of understand some people flip it over to try to keep the dust out of the pivot area, but you know, oh well. So let's see how easy this guy goes back together. And I'm doing this behind the camera, so I like to, once I hear that click, I like to let the lock bar pressure off, spin it up, and that pivot fell into place very nice and very easily. Being that we had some blue Loctite on the body screws, I'm going to take just a dab. You don't need much. And drop that guy in there. Grab the other one. Just a dab. Yeah, this is always a difficult task behind the camera. And I'm not going to tighten these all the way down. I'll tell you why in a second. I usually go in reverse till you hear that little click, so you don't cross thread. You're not going to cross the thread once you hear that click, because that means it's sitting in the position it needs to be. So listen for the click. Watch. Heard that click? Now you know it's in the right position. I screw it down all the way, and then I back it off about 1/8 of a turn. And we'll drop just a titch of, being that it's not a free spinning pivot anymore, I'm going to put a titch of blue Loctite on the pivot. It's not going to hurt. And I usually like to start the pivot off by hand, just for that same reason, so I know for sure I'm not cross-threading. Grab my driver, and I'm going to tighten this guy just to where it seats all the way. Then I like to close it, and as you can see, the knife is already centered, and I still have to tighten up the body screws. Let me make sure before I start doing that. I got just a titch of play, but that's because I didn't really tighten it that much. Okay, hey, y'all go in the other room for right now, Belle. Sorry. All right, we got rid of any blade play. Still dead centered. Now we're going to tighten down these body screws. I was kind of hoping it would be off center so I could show y'all a little trick. I think I've showed it. Oh. You don't want to over tighten these screws, just in case if they are soft. You just want to, get them decently tight. They do have Loctite on them, so they're not going to back out on you. Let's check the centering. Centering on this guy is excellent. Whoo, the action on this guy is spectacular. Look at that. Definitely a fall shut action. Excellent. Y'all be looking forward to this review. One that I'm super excited about, especially, like I said, that they made all the necessary changes that we've asked for, or at least the majority of them. Y'all let me know if y'all like to see these type of videos. Not a lot of people end up watching these videos, but being that this one was fresh off the press, especially with the new upgraded things that they did to it, I figured I'd throw on the camera. Usually I let my boy Zelric do it, but had to do it on this one. So there you go. That's the Bestech Pterodactyl. The full review will be coming in the next few days. Hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.